the best way to kind of like start this conversation is to give you like some general questions first, starting with myself and basically just asking how you got your interest in voice acting and how did it actually start on your end? Like, what was it like to get your first role and how did it all start?
Gotcha. Well, first of all, thanks for having me, everybody, and welcome to everyone who is here on this very alien and new to me thing, Discord. um, so I started voice acting probably about 22, 23 years ago, and I had already been an actor. I've been in the business probably since I was like 10 years old, but I never wanted to be a voice actor. I never knew that was something that could be as far as a career goes. So I was doing a lot of theater. I did the national tour of Les Miserables, the musical, in
Mm.
San Francisco. And then I came to LA. I got a job at Universal Studios in the Beetlejuice's Rocking Graveyard Review show, singing and dancing. And that's where I met voice actors Darren Norris, Wally Wingert, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, all kinds of performers. And I got a play called Fully Committed. It was a one-man show, and I played 32 different people in the show. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So no one else in the cast, just me for an hour and a half, never left the stage, 32 different characters. Uh, just complete like split personality. And so Mary, who I was working with in the show, she came and saw my play, and she said, I'm casting this new show you might be right for. Obviously, you could do voices, blah blah blah. Why don't you come audition for it? And that show was Digimon Tamers season 3. And I had done some voice work before for some original animation. I did a musical for Nickelodeon, but I'd never done dubbing, so it was technically it was a brand new world to me. So I auditioned for Staccato in season 3, and probably 3 or 4 months. They took their sweet time letting us know. About 3 or 4 months later, I found out I got the job. And literally, the reason we are all here today is from Digimon. Like, Digimon got me every subsequent job by way of knowing directors or producers, and that led to my entire career as I know it today.
That's amazing. And even like having one of the roles in where you basically play 32 people,
Ah,
like I could understand that it was basically like a lot to kind of like also organize. I guess my follow-up question on that topic is how has this kind of like casting changed? Would you say it has kind of like changed drastically when you, for example, auditioning for a role? From back then, like when you had the chance to kind of like audition for a voice in Nickelodeon versus now? Is
yeah.
the kind of like thing completely different, or what was your kind of like journey through all that?
It's very different, and it's changing all the time. I mean, don't even need to get into AI, right? But everything's kind of
Right.
like everything's on the precipice of being either good, fine, or terrible, right? But it
Mm.
seems like that's the way it's been ever since I started. Because when I started doing a lot of TV and stuff, that's when um, cable started, right? And so they
Mm.
were always concerned about how are we going to pay these actors their residuals? How are we going to track something that's available to watch 24 hours a day? Whereas that never used to be
Mm.
the case. They knew what time Seinfeld was on, so they knew how much money to pay their actors in residuals. So that's always
Right.
been changing. As far as auditions go, technology, like we're auditioning from home now, which I hate. When I was auditioning for, I did like 8 callbacks for Aladdin, the Disney's movie musical Aladdin, as the
Right.
singing voice of Aladdin. And that whole time you're in the booth at Disney Studios. And so they're giving you notes right there. Right now we just like send in a video, or excuse me, well, a video if it's on camera, or just an MP3 of our audition. And we kind of have to be our own director, and maybe they'll send back notes and say, "We like you, but try it this way." Sometimes they'll just move on to someone else. So we've lost that ability to kind of like pivot with a direction, and thus maybe we're not booking as many jobs as we did back in the day, which is weird.
In- Interesting. I I
Yeah.
I I always thought that like casting directors were always a thing back then, but apparently not for everything, I guess.
Well, they were, but we were
Yeah.
just all in the room together. And now
Ah,
it's,
oh, okay, see.
yeah, now it's going to either a casting director or sometimes directly to a
Mm,
producer or a studio or a network. But it's so we're so separated from any kind of like interpersonal relationship. And that used to have a big kind of a big part of why you book things. You know, you were good in the room, they like to work with you, you were a good person. Um, and not that that's not still a part of it, but really, that being able to take a casting director note or a director note in the room, I know that's why I booked some gigs back in the day, and we just don't have that ability anymore.
I see, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much. I mean, Juve, would you like to kick off with our next question then?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Brian, just again, want to thank you for being here. You are an absolute legend, and it is a
Thank
treat
you.
to all of us and all the members of the community here to get this chance to just chat with you and learn from your incredible career. Also, really quick before I hop to my question, I just want to thank the 282 folks who are in the audience watching this
Yeah,
live right now,
yeah.
and
Hey,
anybody who watches
everybody.
the recording afterwards. I know, Brian, you are hecka busy. In fact, I saw on Twitter yesterday on your day off, allegedly,
Yeah.
it sounded like you were quite busy between a VO session. You had some
Yeah.
cameos. By the way, if you're not already following Brian on Twitter, I would highly recommend it. Pretty funny dude. Also knows a thing
Thank
or two
you.
about the industry, so definitely go check him out. But all right, so I'm Juvie. I'm the resident boomer here, so to speak, and so, because we've got this amazing community, we're a humble little group here, Project Eden's Garden. Just wanted to learn, like for the audience's benefit mostly, kind of
Yeah.
how you found out about the project, how you arrived here, and kind of like what piqued your interest about hanging out and doing this interview with us.
So you guys are gonna know this better than me because my mind is oatmeal at this point. I did 32 events last year, and it's just everything's garbage. But I think I ran into one of you guys at a convention. Is that not right? Or was it an outreach from social media?
Yes, I think it was one of our fans that notified
Oh,
our voice actor from Diana Venecia, Snow, who basically kind of like brought this to our attention, and we we basically had back and forth talks like, wouldn't this be amazing if we
right,
actually have some sort of interview? And I think Snow kind of like reached out to you via X or Twitter in
right.
that case, and then this was where we gotten our first connection. Like, we never thought that you would actually reply when we sent that email first.
Well,
And I was so excited, yeah.
it's so funny that the initial contact was made by a fan of you guys. That speaks a lot to you guys. That's really cool. And obviously they explained it well enough and they were eloquent enough and cool enough that I was like, yeah, sounds good. I love interviews. I think it's not only like great optics for me, right? That whatever. But ever since social media not started, but since I kind of became a little bit more involved in TikTok and reels on Instagram and stuff like that, I've discovered that the more I connect with the people that follow or like the stuff that I do, think it just benefits my career. It benefits my convention time.
Mm,
Um, it turns the job that I do, which is so isolating, right? We're just in a booth with a director. It's such an isolating life. It's not like theater. It's not like working on a film. And so, because of this, because of interviews and conventions and all that stuff, we finally get to like meet people and talk to people, and I'm really enjoying it. So that was one of the reasons I really wanted to do this with you guys.
heck yeah. Well, we're incredibly grateful to have you. Really excited to get into this.
Thanks.
So, I know the next category that we're going to kind of transition into is talking about your role as Monokuma, of course. So,
Yeah, yes.
I'm gonna pass the mic to Saze to kick off questions on that end.
Hello, Saucy.
Okay, hello, I'm Suzy. All right, yeah, I'm a very big Danganronpa fan, so this is very
Big
exciting.
nice.
Um, so my question is, how did you develop your voice for Monokuma? Did you take inspiration from the performance of his Japanese VA,
Mm,
Nobuyo Oyama, or did you find inspiration elsewhere?
great question. So I was given the audition basically back then. They were emailing auditions to us, and this was done at Bang Zoom, where I'd already done Durarara and a bunch of other things. So they knew me at the studio. They knew what my voice could do. Although I don't know if they necessarily knew that my voice could do Monokuma. Um,
Mm.
so they did want the character, while played played by a male or whatever, they wanted it to be in the same musical range as the original actress that played Monokuma in Japan, right? So I knew it had to be high, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually don't even know if I'm in the same range as her. She might have been like mezzo soprano, and I'm probably like tenor, mezzo, high alto, whatever. For those of you that
Mm.
know music, but definitely I'm up there, right? I'm up there in range. And so I did the audition. I emailed it to them, and I booked the gig, which was great. I had no idea what kind of ridiculous world Danganronpa was going to be. Because even with the sides that they sent me, the audition lines, I think some of them were fine, but I don't know that they really gave me a clear view of how insane Monokuma was, right? I didn't learn that
Mm.
until the first session. But in the first session, the directors, because this game is well, you know what the game is. It's not necessarily all timed. All the lines aren't necessarily timed. So I had
Mhm.
freedom to kind of like add humor to it and add my version of what I thought was funny. And so while keeping the attitude of Monokuma and the vocal range, I just kind of added kind of like the behavior and the takes on lines that I thought would be funny. And that's kind of like how he developed. So
Mm.
yeah, I really take a lot of, along with the director, obviously, a lot of responsibility for creating him. And he's so much fun. It's scary though, because I've done 3 games now. And it's funny, any actor will tell you, like, don't create a voice in a recording session that you can't duplicate. Like, don't make a voice so difficult that you can't keep doing it and doing it, doing it. And Monokuma
Mm.
is almost there. He was
Wow.
almost beyond being able to repeat, because he's just so high,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
fortunately, I think I reined him enough that I could replicate him whenever I need to.
Well, bonus question for me: did it ever strain your vocal cords doing that really high pitched voice so much?
Yeah, so I think, gosh, I know the first game and the second game, we were doing 4-hour recording sessions back then. There's
Mm.
rules now where you can't do that. I think they've limited it to 2 or 3 or something like that. But
Interesting.
um,
Okay.
yeah, so we would do like 3, 4 days in a row of 4-hour sessions. So yeah, by the end of the week, I was tired. Um,
Mm.
but because of where he lies in my voice and he's not like really gravelly and gruff, it was kind of easier to push through than it would be, say, one of my characters in Naruto or something like that. So
Mm.
I, I'm sure I was tired, but fortunately, it didn't affect him.
Yeah. No long term effects. That's
No,
good.
exactly.
All right. Perfect. Thank you very much, Soze. Paco, would you like to
Yes.
kick off with the next question?
Yes, on to the next question I wanted to ask. So I'm Taco.
Hi, Taco.
So hi. Was the Monokuma voice the same from the start, or did it go through different iterations? I think you sort of implied how it went, right?
Yeah, so Monokuma, and I think this was developed in the first game, I think. Monokuma definitely has different colors to his voice, right? He definitely does go back down into like the high tenor range, maybe a little bit lower than that when he gets a little eviler, as opposed to being up here and happy. He gets a little lower. So yeah, he has color to him. Um, but I think overall, and they would do this, like on the end of a session, they would play back what I had recorded in the beginning of the session to make sure that my voice hadn't drifted, typically drifted lower, right? And
Hmm.
as long as they were happy that the voice remained consistent, we moved on. A lot of people talked about the voice in the third game being higher. Um, and because
Yeah, I did
Monokuma
notice that.
yeah, because Monokuma's got different voices. He's got the high, really high voice on certain lines, and then kind of like the middle, lower, threatening voice, whatever. We didn't record it in order of the game, right? We just recorded it in order of attitudes or behaviors or scenes or whatever. And so the way the game was built, just consequently, it's very, very, very much front loaded with a lot of high lines. And so I think it was just
Oh.
shocking to the listeners, like, oh, he sounds really different. Because everyone will tell you, like, oh, well, and towards the middle, it started to sound normal again. But as I was recording on the day, I was going back and forth from voice to voice to voice to voice. I didn't do all the high ones in the beginning. So it's odd. No,
Oh,
he's consistent.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, it was interesting to see because on the third game you also were able to kind of like go in a little bit of a lower in the sneezy role because you also played Monosuke.
Yes.
How was that different changing between those two characters? Was it always kind of like, was it completely separated? Or one day you did the Monokuma voice lines and then Monosuke, or was this like interchangeably done?
Well, I don't think he had that many lines to like regulate an entire day to him, but I think
Mm.
we definitely saved him for the last. So just in case my voice was shot or a little bit lower, he would be easier to play, right? You know, hey, bada bing, bada boom. Um, and so he was done at the end on whichever
Right.
day we re-recorded him. But I loved playing him. I actually I wanted to play all of them. I want to play all of them. Give me them all. The actors did
I
such a good job.
it's really really so nice to hear, especially like when I played like V3 for the very first time. You can actually tell how much fun every character was,
Oh
especially
man.
having also this nostalgic feeling of hearing
Yeah.
other voice actors, but where you could basically hear uh, Nekomaru Nidai's in certain other character roles again. Was always interesting to kind of like see the enthusiasm that was brought onto this project.
Oh yeah. I think we're all in love with it. Any actor that I talk to, we are just also uh, grateful for what it's given us. I mean, especially me. I'm literally traveling all over the world with this game pushing me. You know what I mean? This and
Yeah.
right now, Bungo Stray Dogs and Digimon are what pretty much are booking me gigs. And so I find myself walking around, you know, the Baltics or Australia or Ireland, and it's because of Monokuma. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I mean, you're an icon for the Danganronpa franchise.
Thank
It's
you.
so nice to hear your unique voice and take, of course, of the character, and always is not. It's exciting for me every time when I hear your
Thank
voice,
you.
and of course, don't want to kind of like say too much about it, but can't wait to be excited when we inevitably have the release of 2x2.
I
um,
know.
and especially we are I'm very excited to what it has to offer. um, a lot of our friends on YouTube, like Weeby News, she's like also we had her in the past in a podcast before. She's also like constantly analyzing on, oh, what is different about this time, and
Yes.
oh, why does Nagito or Hajime talk to a bit different? What is the
Yeah.
context behind that scene? And yeah, it's really really interesting to see how that game will actually turn out.
Well,
Um,
I don't
yeah,
know. Just
go ahead.
like I don't know if it's on your list. Are you guys
Yeah.
going to talk about the event in Japan that I went to or no? Is that on your
Uh,
questions?
Actually, we don't have it time slotted in here because we're not sure how fast we can go through with all of these
Got it,
questions we
got it, got
have.
it. Well, just so you know, I went to
Yeah,
Japan for the 15-year anniversary for the
yeah.
game.
Hmm.
And so I saw a lot of like the demos and stuff for the new game. And I did ask the people at Spike, like, you know, is the new game going to upset the Danganronpa fans, or is it going to make them happy? And their answer was yes. So there you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sounds about right.
yes.
That made me very happy. And then, as you say, other than that, I have no information on anything like if
Mm.
and when I'll be announced, blah blah blah, when it's going to drop. But I'm very excited for it. I can't wait, and we'll see.
Perfect. Then I would like to segue this about some certain questions for your involvement with the Danganronpa franchise.
Yeah,
And we have a question from Lumi, who's our voice actor for the character Grace Madison in Project Eden's Garden. Julie, would you
nice.
like to ask that question?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is perfectly timed with you talking about all the experience, the rich experiences you've had as being part of this franchise. So I'm just kind of curious. I was fortunate enough when we did the voice acting recording for Godfall, a PS5 title I worked on. Unfortunately,
Nice.
it was during coronavirus,
Hmm.
but I still had the fortune of sitting in on the remote calls and getting to work with the voice actors, doing a little bit of voice directing. Certainly not by trade, but I was there as a producer. And there are some really like beautiful, delightful moments that come from those sessions, even when handled online. So I can only imagine what happens like when
Yeah.
you're actually in the booth and with people and you feel that physical energy. So I'm kind of curious, like, do you have a favorite moment when reflecting on your time with the franchise? Something that really sticks out as like I don't know, something weird happened, your voice cracked in a certain way, a story was shared from a director, like anything like that that just really sticks out to you in your, you know, at this point, years that you've spent with the franchise.
Right, 15 years. So sadly, I don't really remember like many of the lines, but I do remember in recording V3. At that time, it was being directed by Wendy Lee, and I remember, as you're saying the lines and they're setting up the tracks or whatever, you're reading down and seeing what your lines are going to be, and I remember laughing out loud so hard at some of the lines that I was going to have to say because they were so ridiculous, borderline offensive, and I even think
Oh boy.
some of the stuff that I said actually didn't make it into the game. So like whatever kind of like standards and practices that they had to pull things out, they did. But I just remember 'cause when I did the first game, you guys, like obviously it was just a video game, right? It was a weird one, but I had no idea what it was going to be. And it wasn't until what 3 years later or whatever I did the second one. I thought, oh, this is kind of cool. Here we are again, blah blah blah. Um, and then come the third game, the momentum for it had already built up. Monokuma was a presence kind of in my life already, and at that point, I was kind of like, this is really cool. I'm really honored to be a part of this. But to be fair, Monokuma has paid more dividends to me, as I said, when I find myself all over the world. And that's when I think it's crazy that this video game, silly little gig, right?
This fat little bear.
This fat little murdering, misunderstood, lovely person of a bear, um, has given me so much in my life. And just so everyone knows out there, anyone who's listening, like this is not BS. Like I say this wholeheartedly, like this show, the game, the whole franchise means so much to me, and eternally grateful for it.
I love that. I think that's beautiful. Just knowing too that the game starts on. I can only imagine from your position, right? The game starts on the PSP. It's this kind of like smaller. You know what I mean? Like who
Yeah.
who could have ever predicted? Like sitting in your shoes, imagining what that's like. You're like, all right, I'm doing a PSP exclusive visual novel, niche upon niche upon niche, and
Yeah,
here
yeah,
you
yeah,
are,
yeah.
15 years later, and it's like, this is who I am.
Well, listen to this. Like, I'm an old person, right? So it wasn't until last year that I got a Switch. I'm like an Atari guy. That's the only gaming
Yeah,
system
yeah.
I've
I'm,
ever
I'm
had.
right there with you. I'm the community grandpa, so I'm right there with
Yeah.
you.
So
I
so you talk about these switching platforms. I was not aware of any platform that it was on because I only watched people play it. I never played it until last year. I am currently
Wow.
playing the first game and I'm still stuck in the garbage room, so I don't know what's going on. I'm
Yeah.
so terrible. I'm the worst gamer ever. I'm never gonna finish. I'm
Absolutely amazing.
Googling. Yeah.
We'll send you the Let's Play for Eden's Garden. We'll say.
Please do. Please do. God.
Excellent, excellent, awesome. Well, I think that perfectly segues to a question that Saze has, staying on the
Okay,
topic of
yeah.
Danganronpa.
So this one was asked by Snow, Diana Venecia's voice actor, and the question is, what do you enjoy the most about voicing a villain over a
Mm.
hero or morally great character?
That's great. I mean, and I do definitely side more towards the villains. I started my career playing Takato and then Digimon characters and best friends, you know, Shima Blue Exorcist, Dribbles in Code Geass. And so they're fine. They're funny, but I'm so much more interested in someone like Octagawa, who's like this multi-layered, multi-dimensional, problematic, troubled character who obviously in his mind doesn't think he's a villain, right? No protagonist in their own world thinks they're a villain. So even though they do, you know, horrible villainous things. So, and then you add to that characters who do terrible things, but also have a sense of humor. That's so much more interesting to play. And it's really cool. Whenever I get jobs like that, I'm really, really happy.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And that's a perfect kind of like segue in our next kind of like category of questions that we wanted to ask you. So we also had some questions about auditioning in general.
Mm.
And one of my questions that I wrote down is how different is it auditioning for a role of for a video game versus auditioning on a series or a film in that case? Are there like any major factors that you always have to keep in mind, or how is it when you kind of like put yourself into that type of role, or do you have any info beforehand in that regard?
Good question. So, like I said, back in the day, we would go in, I'd go to like Bang Zoom or a cup of tea or whatever, and they'd have me audition for maybe 8 roles in a video game. So you'd get like a piece of paper with a drawing of the character and then
Hmm.
a little description of who they were and then the lines that you would read. So at that point, you're like, okay, I got to come up with 8 different voices, whatever, for a video game. For a series, not so much going in, but when they would email you, if the series already existed, which typically with anime it does, right? Unless you're doing like a
Hmm.
simuldub and you can't access the info, they would send you video and audio clips of the show, and that would really help kind of like direct you what the characters were. Were they slight? Were they heavy? Old? Young? Voice types? Intensity? Etc. So TV shows, anime, whatever, um, tend to be a little bit more. There's freedom in having more information, but you're also a little bit more possibly handcuffed because the director is like, you know, play to this tape or play to this kind of like vocal type.
Right.
So with a video game, you're like, okay, it's a monster, and then when he's not a monster, he's a shy little, you know, mouse, and you could
Hmm.
just come up with whatever voice you want. And so there's a little freedom in that I really do like. But video
When,
games are
when,
harder because you guys know you're doing all those fighting efforts, right? It's like an hour of screaming. So that's tough, you know.
Right, right.
Ugh.
Saza, you wanted
when,
to say something?
yeah, when you said you get a drawing of them, is it like a good drawing or
No, it's not
like
it's
they
not
just
like what
do
I
like
would
a little
draw.
sketch of the character and yeah, there you go.
No, it's typically like a pull from the game or an artist
Okay,
rendering
yeah.
or yeah. But you know, I can't remember when I did the video game Tales of Symphonia. That was 100 years ago.
Ooh,
Um,
good
and
game.
I think I was actually syncing to what was called an animatic, which is an animation that's not quite finished yet. And
Mm.
so, for the most part, for video games at this point, you're just saying your lines, and they'll say, "All right, this line is 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 2 seconds."
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but back then it was really cool. I got to kind of like see a rough idea of what my character Lloyd was going to be.
I like to imagine like you got a poorly drawn image of Monokuma on like some
Oh my,
tissue
oh
paper.
my gosh! Like the stuff I draw on my Funko Pops. Yes, a terrible
Yeah.
drawing of Monokuma.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I guess I have a follow-up question. So you mentioned how kind of like restricted it is based on if you work on a video game versus like on a TV series.
Yeah.
Um, when it comes down to, for example, video game roles like Monokuma or Monosuke, do you also have that kind of like limitation, or are you more free to kind of like express how you would say specific lines?
It depends apparently, because as I say, I'm stuck in the garbage room on game one. It depends on the gameplay. So if it's like a timed hit or a cut to another frame or whatever, they're like, all right, this line is a second and a half. And this other line is as long as you want to make it. And then they'll animate to that line most of the stuff in Danganronpa was free. There's only a couple things that are timed. And that really made, to me, the character development of Monokuma so much easier because I didn't have that restriction.
Right.
But
In an
most
ideal world, you
games,
can
yeah.
express basically your character and have some basically the best time to kind of like evolve it throughout the session.
Yeah, because Monokuma, his comedy is all about like inflection and musicality and timing. It's very like East Coast Catskills kind of humor for those that know. Um, but with those kinds of restrictions, like if you're matching flaps on an anime, you are really, really pressed to be able to add any kind of flavor that's not in the text,
Right,
because
right.
there's no time for it.
It's also interesting to kind of like see. It's like, oh, especially for anime, it's like how much acting can you put into a
Oh
specific
God.
character that just moves 2 frames with its
Yeah.
mouth.
We did you guys remember the TV show Doraemon?
Yeah.
Yes, my dad
So
loves
I
that.
love Doraemon. I have all the
Doraemon's great.
comics.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, it's huge in Japan. It's like Japan's Mickey Mouse, and America, or yeah, America was like the last language to ever dub the show, the series. But
Oh.
towards the end of the season, I don't know which season it was, they developed a technique where they were able to change the flaps in the animation. So if
Ooh.
they had a line that was funnier, they would just write it, and if it were shorter or longer than the existing animation, they would just change it in post, and that was really cool.
That's wow.
Mm.
Okay, I didn't even know that. Wow.
That's convenient.
It was
I
convenient.
mean,
I tell you though, it was hard though because if your line went beyond the flaps of the character, you had to keep talking even though 23 years of dubbing
Yeah.
experience told you to stop, It's like I'm supposed to shut
Mhm.
up now.
yeah.
So that was a little tough. That was a little tough.
I see, I see. All right, Taco, would you like to ask the next question?
Yes. Yes, of course. So this is actually submitted by Maddie Goshan, which is the voice actor of Ingrid, which is what is your craziest audition that you ever did? Is there like a moment where you're just like, wow, I just did that? Or did something happen in the audition that made you like, what the heck?
So I think I'm a decent auditioner, but I tend to crash and burn quite often. And
Oh, I
the
see. In what
the
way?
things that have been crazy in auditions have not been for voiceover, although one kind of was affected by it. Is a television show called Imagination Movers. It was on Disney and they filmed in New Orleans. I had to be basically like a Robin Williams from Aladdin, who did a bunch of comedy and did a bunch of different voices, which is kind of why I booked the audition. Was from anime, right? They knew I could do voices, and I got the job, although I was really really scared, and I sat in my car for about a half an hour beyond my audition time because I was nervous that I was going to screw it up. But I got the job doing all these like 20 different voices. And when I got to set in New Orleans, the director came up to me. He's like, "Hey, we loved everything that you did. Just we're not going to do any multiple voices. We want one voice." And I was like, "What?" So right before we filmed, I had to decide on one voice for this genie and make it
They didn't
funny.
even like tell you
No,
the
no.
voice.
And they
What?
knew for
What?
weeks. They knew for weeks that it was going to be like that. And this happened to me again. I auditioned at Disney Studios for the Jungle Book remake, the series. And I was auditioning for the king, the lion, and I did him like a British lion, very proper and funny. And
Mm.
I got a call back and was at Disney Studios in the booth, and the director's like, "All right, that's great. We love everything. No accent." I'm like, "You guys, come on, like the humor is based in my head. The humor
Mhm.
is based on the timing and the musicality." So anyway, that was one of the weird, funny things. I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, well, this was just audition for a musical, and I hit a really terrible note, and I laughed at myself in the song. And I kind of like, I don't know if you guys know, but like you move your hand back and forth like a paddle, like, that was a little bit shaky. And I was like commenting on my own performance in the middle of a song. And I don't know what it was
Oh,
for, but it just like, so I do that a lot. I'm very like self
yeah.
deprecating and I think it's
Oh,
funny, but
mm.
casting directors don't. So,
No, yeah, that's very relatable. I think I'll do the
yeah,
exact same thing.
yes. It's so stupid. Oh my God.
All
Hey,
right,
can I ask something
awesome.
really quick? Where are you guys from? Is everybody from different places?
Oh
Yes.
yeah, we
Tell me
we
where
are
you're
one.
from.
Yeah, like Shade, kick
Let's
us
go.
off here.
Yeah, Shade start.
All right. So basically, I'm from Germany. So
Amazing.
it's basically it's almost half past 3 a.m. at my place.
Oh my gosh. What
Um,
city? What
but
city are you in?
I'm living near the city of Frankfurt.
I know
So it's
Frankfurt very
basically,
well.
Like the sausage.
yeah,
Yes.
it's always
Saucy.
interesting. And to give you an example for like how insane our outreach of Project Eden's Garden has become, every year there's the games convention called Gamescom in Cologne,
Yeah.
which I'm there almost every year, as well as meeting other people. And people actually recognized my voice from the devlogs that we did in the past, and said, "Wait,
Wow.
are you the guy who made the events for like Project Dean's Garden?" It's like, wait, you know
That's
Project Dean's
amazing.
Garden? And I'm always like starstruck whenever people actually know what I'm
Recognize
doing.
you.
Exactly, because I never thought like, okay, maybe if I live in America that there's a higher chance, but never here in Europe. And it's always so insane to meet like people who are absolute fan of like the franchise as well as the Danganronpa franchise. Like we come up and basically talk for hours about it. It's always a unique experience to see new people from
Wow,
that.
that's so cool. All right, Soze, where are you from?
Yes, I am from Australia.
Yes, what
Um,
part?
Queensland.
I Oh no, I haven't been
Um,
there yet. I haven't been there
oh,
yet.
yeah, Queensland. It's kind of it's quieter, like New South Wales and Victoria.
Yeah,
They're a lot more fun. Um, but do come if you ever do, because then I'll definitely try to visit you then.
that's awesome. I did
Um,
5 cities in Australia last year.
yeah, they always skip Queensland. They
They
always skip
always
like
do. I
Brisbane.
know.
Yeah, they always skip Brisbane. Um, I've met one fan, like a Peg fan, cause Shay brought it up. But my situation was a little different. I went to like a convention, and I was walking around in a shirt I made. Well, it was like a white shirt, and I wrote on the back in marker, "Oh, like Danganronpa, then play Project Eden's Garden. More tears, more dead teenagers." And
Oh my
I
god.
I had a girl go up to me and be like, "Oh my god, I love Project Eden's Garden," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm the creative
Wow.
director," and she was like, "What?"
I was
So
gonna
yeah,
say, with that shirt, you're about to become head of marketing, Saze. Be
yeah.
careful here.
I know. Get that to Vistaprint stat.
Mhm. So yeah,
That's
that's my
brilliant.
experience. Now for
Nice.
Taco, I'll pass the mic to Taco.
What? I was still thinking of my answer. Juve, you go first.
You're thinking of your answer of where you live?
Where are you
Okay.
from?
you,
You
you you you
understand
you
later.
you keep cooking, King. I got you. So I am the boring American from Nashville, Tennessee. Uh,
Nashville.
yes. Well,
Nice.
okay. I shouldn't say I'm not from Nashville, Tennessee. Let me correct myself. I'm from South Florida.
Okay.
I spent many years out in San Francisco and Los Angeles.
I'm
And I've
from
been
San
out.
Francisco.
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. I spent some time in Emeryville, so right across
Nice.
the
Yep.
bridge there. Yeah, it was a good time. And then yeah, spent the last few years in Nashville. And since there's this pattern of talking about Eden's Garden fans and how we bump into them, um, mine is far nerdier than the other two examples. I am in I for the first time in my life, I'm in a competitive Pokemon VGC draft league. And
Whoa.
one of the
Ooh.
people who I am competing against was like, "Whoa, your Discord profile picture looks really familiar. Are you involved with Eden's Garden at all?" and, and this guy's like really good at Pokemon, so I'm intimidated because I'm like, you're gonna like kick my ass next week when we like match up against each
Wow.
other. But he's like, I was like, yeah, co-director. I'm just the grandpa. I just make sure Taco doesn't say anything offensive on stream. And he's like, oh, that's so cool. I recognized your picture.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
there's Eden Garden fans
awesome.
kind of planted all over the place. It's always a pleasure when we bump into them. Okay, Taco.
Wow.
Hopefully that
Right,
was enough time
Taco.
for you to remember where you live.
Sometimes I forget to breathe. Anyways,
That's our
uh,
director.
so Yes.
Monokuma has left you speechless.
I'm gagged. I completely don't know what to say. No, I'm Chinese, but contrary to popular belief, I'm not from China.
I'm Chinese.
I'm somewhere. I'm somewhere in East Asia. I'm joking. I'm from Singapore.
Oh,
I'm somewhere
Singapore,
stationed here.
nice.
Yes, you should come over. It's very hot.
I'd love to.
It's
Oh, okay.
very humid. Went there last year
Yeah,
to visit Taco. I exploded into flames.
that's so bad. I was
Oh,
lifting
wow.
like 6 bottles of water for Salty to the hotel, and Salty was melting at night, and I was like, "Are you okay?" And
What?
she was not okay.
Yeah, but it's beautiful. I would genuinely like the weather may be horrifying, but
Yeah.
the city's beautiful.
Yeah, it's on my list. I definitely want to go for sure.
It's an
For sure.
experience.
That's
Yes,
amazing.
sea Asians. Yes.
Yeah.
I would say that like over here, I do actually go to cons a lot, but obviously I don't dress up as a director or anything. I just go there as a sleeper agent and I just walk around. And then sometimes I cosplay too, but like not very often right now because I'm busy. But I sometimes I would see peg fence and out in the open, and I would just be like, oh, that's a
Wow.
keychain I've seen before. Oh,
Mhm.
like that's a character I know. The
That's
last
amazing.
convention I went to, right? The last convention I went to, I saw a suspiciously familiar outfit of Kai someone was wearing, but they weren't wearing the wig. So I was like, is that is that Kai? I was just
Closet
like, huh?
cosplay, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I
maybe it
was
was
like,
too hot for them to
whoa.
keep the wig on. It sounds like it'd be
Yeah,
impossible to wear
possibly,
a wig in
yeah.
Singapore.
No, for sure, yeah. Yeah, I've met some peg fans out in the wild before, and I just kind of took out my sketchbook, drew for them, be like, "Shh, don't tell anyone," and then I run away, like really fast. When you blink, just run. Yeah.
It's
And yeah,
it's
no,
Love
if
it.
you come
insane.
over, I would love to like guide you around. It's
Oh,
fun
that's so
for tourists
nice.
here.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah, and it's insane. Like our team is basically present almost globally. I think, Juve, correct me if I'm wrong. I think we have
There's
about.
a lot of Americans. So we cannot
I know,
understate
but
the amount of
Y-
Americans.
of course, but I think we have about 8 or 9 countries of representation of
Wow.
our entire
We're very
team.
diverse.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
Very,
was gonna say
very
the key
diverse.
here, Brian, is the team never sleeps. This is a 24/7
I guess
operation here.
so,
That
right?
yep.
Your time zones are sending you all to an early grave, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Something like that.
God.
Coordinating team meetings is always a little bit of a trip. Luckily,
I
Wow.
my
don't even
sport has
attend
recently
them
improved their
because
times
they're
too.
like 4 a.m. my time. I'm just like, yeah, I'm not going.
Yeah.
but
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
we always try to make it work, especially when the team meeting and the communication across all of the departments, to make sure everybody is on the right stage.
Yeah.
Um, Perfect. Juve, do you want to kick off with the next question?
Yeah. So I always love this question. This one actually comes from Sabrina, which, by the way, I just want to give a shout out to Sabrina. I don't know if she's in the audience, voice
Hey,
actor for
Sabrina.
Cassidy. Incredible leader, incredible human.
Mm,
Big Sabrina fan here. And she
nice.
asks one of my favorite questions that I'm always curious with voice actors, as the hopeless romantic. So the one that got away, Brian, was there ever a character that you either wanted to audition or you were close to closing in on and it didn't quite close the gap on, or just the character that got away or you didn't get a chance to audition for? Is there anything like that in your career?
The way you built up the question, I thought it was going to be the pineapple on pizza question, but
Okay.
um, yeah. So as I said, there was the Aladdin one, right, for the movie musical Aladdin. That would have been life changing for me for sure. And then I don't know how many years ago, maybe 10 years ago, there was a new series of Sonic
Oh,
animated
okay.
series that came
Yeah.
out, and I had many, many, many auditions for Tails. And the contract that they proposed to us was for anime, movies, games, merchandise. It would have been life
Wow.
changing. So that was purely like a financial. It would have dug me out of a financial hole at the time and kind of like changed my life. So it wasn't so much like a character that I loved necessarily because I had only auditioned for it. I didn't know it. Um, but it was really something that I kind of wanted at the time. And after you do that many callbacks, you kind of like start tasting it. You're like, oh, this is gonna happen. This
You
is gonna
start
happen.
dreaming about it. It
Yeah,
starts. Yeah, I get it.
and
I get it. That's
it's the
hard.
wrong attitude to have, because the
Yeah,
competition
for
is
sure.
so tough. And then beyond something that I wish I would have gotten, there's a show that I wish they would make, and I say this at all my conventions. I want them to make an animated uh, musical series of Sweeney Todd.
Oh my God,
If you guys,
Brian.
Oh,
yeah,
Brian,
yeah,
homie, I'm
yeah,
connecting with you right now. Okay,
yeah.
so are you familiar at all? This is so out of left field. I'm so sorry to the audience, but I'm about to pop off for a second here. Are
Uh-oh.
you familiar at all with high school speech and debate, like forensics, interpretation? Am I speaking like a different language to you right now?
I mean, I know that it exists, but
Okay,
I don't know.
fantastic. So I was an actor
Yes.
myself, only in high school. I was a very bad actor, but my now
Phenomenal.
fiance and I, we did a thing called duo interpretation, where you do a 10-minute performance based on like a
Oh,
popular piece of media or a script. And our
yeah.
senior year of high school, we performed Sweeney Todd.
Come
Um,
on.
I did a terrible Cockney accent. I was carried the entire time. And you have to understand, in high school, you have a lot of mom judges. They come in clutching their pearls. They're just
They're
excited to like
terrible.
see their. Oh yeah, and then I'm like slitting throats and killing people. I'm the demon barber of Fleet Street, and they're horrified watching us perform
Yep.
this thing.
Brilliant.
Yeah. It was a complete nightmare. So I love Sweeney Todd. I would love to see you in Sweeney Todd. I would lose my mind. Anyways, I had
Amazing. Thank
I
you.
had to geek out. I had to geek out.
I love that. No, Sweeney Todd was one of the first shows I ever saw. In fact, my friend Leslie Margarita, who was on Broadway, she just finished Gypsy on Broadway. She's playing Mrs. Lovett out here in La Mirada
Oh my
tomorrow
God,
night. So I'm
yes.
going to see it. I'm seeing it tomorrow night. I'm so excited. Directed
Mm.
by Jason Alexander from Seinfeld. He's directing the show. So,
Oh my
mhm.
God. Okay,
Crazy.
Juvie.
you're gonna
I
have to
just,
reel me
I
in
just,
because I will accommodate the next 13 minutes if you don't shut me up. So I'm
Oh,
gonna.
I love that, man. I love
I,
that. Theater
I just
nerd.
love how you geek out about Sweeney Todd. It's so amazing to see.
Brian found the right button to push. Let me tell
I
you
love
what.
it.
So okay,
I
so
love it.
we're on the topic of strange theater, strange acting. So this is like perfect for my next question. I'm gonna bulldoze through this because otherwise, like I said, I'll eat the next 13 minutes. Brian, strangest direction you've ever been given? I'm talking like a weird moment. Like I said, when I was on Godfall, there were some like voice directors.
Mm,
They're a
mm.
creative bunch. They come up with some
Yeah.
weird stuff in the moment to get you in the zone. Anything that sticks out to you that was like, whoa, that was like bizarre, maybe in a good way, maybe in a weird way, anything like that?
Yeah, so there's a lot of situations like that. Fortunately, most of them aren't terrible. The one that I remember, I've got one for theater and I've got one for voice acting.
Ooh.
So for theater, I had a college theater director who told me that my performance was currently too yellow and needed to be more blue. Now, you explain that to me. I don't know what that means. I didn't know what kind of change. He was very like, Stella Adler in his head. And I was like, all right, I took the note. I thought I made the change, but I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So that was very weird. Um, I did have a director back in the day. I don't remember his name, but I have since told this story based on where the show was recorded, and other people said that they had a very similar situation. I could not do anything right. He gave me line readings, which I don't know if you guys line reading is where a director will basically say how he wants the line to say to sound, right?
Yeah.
The music, it's a terrible thing to do to an actor, but you get to a point as an actor where you're like, I just want to go home. Like, just tell me how you want this line is so we can move on. And I did nothing right, and he was just kind of a jerk, and I don't think he's working in the industry anymore. But that was one of the most difficult sessions I've ever had, and kind of the only one that's been like that. But it was weird. It was really weird. I'm like, who hurt you? What happened to you today? What's wrong with you? And literally, I was like, you know what? I don't need this job. Can I quit now? Can I just get in my
Yeah,
car?
self
Because
care. Self
yeah,
care.
I quit.
Yeah.
Bye bye. I quit. So weird.
It's I think everybody has some sort of like also weird moment when I've been directed about something. Especially me from my professional field, it's like sometimes we get proposed some very unique features, let's say it like that, and you think to yourself, it's like, wait, are you serious? Do we really
Yeah.
need to add that now? So
There's
I
a
can totally relate.
There's a term called the Peter principle. Have you heard of that? Peter principle?
No.
So it's
No.
someone who is skilled and they keep getting elevated and elevated in position until they're elevated one position higher than their skill level. That's called the Peter
Mm-hmm.
principle.
Hmm.
And it happens a lot in show business. Thankfully, not a lot with directors that I've worked with, but I think that may have been his situation. He was just above his reach or just below his reach. Yeah, crazy.
I see. I see. All right, perfect. Then let's move to our second to last category of questions. That's about voice acting motivation, advice, and preparation.
Love it.
Sase, would you like to kick off us off?
All right, yes. So this question was asked by Dr. Pap, who is the voice actor of Ulysses Wilhelm. And
Nice.
the, and the question is, do you have difficulty finding your way back into the voice after long periods of time when you're not recording for a certain character? Or do you get back into it pretty quickly after a warm up?
Yeah, so that depends on if the voice is physically demanding or you need to warm up, obviously, right? Um, as far as remembering what the voice sounds like, if it's been a long time, say Blue Exorcist came back after 7 years. I played Shima in that, or Yuma Chica in Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War came back after 8 years, whatever. They will
Mm-hmm.
play you a reference. So they'll play you what your voice sounded like, hopefully towards the end of the final season so you can match it. Um, and so it's kind of easy. My voice hasn't changed a whole lot since the time I did Takato 23 years ago. So I'm usually able to jump back into it. What becomes a problem is if they don't have the audio files. And so there's been
Like,
times where like to remind you what you sounded like for whatever reason, and then they're checking on YouTube, they're checking on
oh yeah,
Crunchyroll.
I was about to say, like,
Yeah,
what about YouTube?
it happens. Like so they they'll like play it through their phone through the speaker into the booth, to hear what it sounds like. But sometimes it's, as you guys know, YouTube is a rabbit hole. You don't always get what you want. You'll get like a fan dub or an
Mm.
editorial review, and you're like, I just want to hear my voice. And that's happened a couple times. And I don't like
So
that because I feel like they're relying on the actor to remember, or they haven't had time or the resources to do any preparation
So
for the
they don't even
session.
have like copies of, like, if it's for a show,
Yeah.
for example, that's come back, they don't even have a copy of the show, like a DVD or anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, the way things work in the recording booth, it's all like it's the audio files, it's the stems,
Mm,
right?
yeah,
And
fair
so they
enough.
have to find like original sessions or they need to, take the audio from the TV show and separate it. But if a
Mhm.
show goes from like Crunchyroll to to Sony to ABC to Hulu to Netflix, whatever, sometimes those things get lost in the shuffle and then you find yourself in
Mm,
the booth and they don't have the references. So that's a little that
mm,
happens a little bit, but as far
a
as
little
being
bit.
able to like get back into the character or the voice, that fortunately hasn't been an issue.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, just sounds more like an organizational management kind of issue.
Yes, yes, they
Mhm.
need to do it.
All right. Perfect. Juve, would you like to ask the next question?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, Brian, you're learning a lot about the community and the team here as we move through this. And I'm an educator by trade. I mean, the thing that I take the most pride and joy in working with the Eamsgarn team is just seeing all these incredible young developers, voice actors
Nice.
over this 4-year journey, just like get their breakthrough. We have people working at Crunchyroll now
Wow.
in the game development industry. It's been absolutely incredible thinking that this journey started 4.5+ years ago, and where people are now is just absolutely incredible. So, kind of similarly, I want you to reflect on your own career a little bit right now, and I'm just kind of curious, like, what advice would you give your younger self or someone like
Hmm.
you who's just starting with voice acting?
Well, it would be two different things because my younger self would be in a world where computers didn't exist, where
Uh,
we were mailing out headshots, right? And not
a younger self in a modern
in
society,
modern
perhaps.
day, yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I people ask this question all the time, like, what should I do to become a voice actor? And everyone's going to tell you the first step is to take acting classes, right? Because um, just because you've got an interesting voice for the most part, is not going to carry you through to a career. You need the skill, right? And you need the experience and the knowledge and all that stuff. So take acting classes. For me, singing really helped. Being a musician really helped my journey. Um, it helps you match voices if you have to do voice matches or even listen and repeats. That's all music, right? I've had to sing a couple times in anime where they make me make up a song on the spot, which probably goes against the union rules, and I should have asked for more money. Um, but definitely singing and being a musician is helpful. Improv classes, hugely important, hugely important. Not that you'll necessarily be doing tons of improv in the booth, but it definitely teaches you how to behave in the room for auditions, for sessions, for just getting out of your head and learning how to be an idiot. Because at the end of the day, that's basically what we're doing. We're just being utterly ridiculous. And then
Mm-hmm.
finally, I will say social media can be your friend. You need to learn how to use it. If you're underage, tell your parents, ask your parents. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and learn tech. We're in the world where you should know tech. Um, and then finally, if you haven't lived a life, it's hard to put yourself in the shoes of another character, right? So travel, read, experience life, meet other cultures, eat other foods, develop your vocabulary, just like have a really full life that you can then bring to whatever characters that you're portraying.
Yes,
That,
definitely. Like have life experience.
yeah, it's everything. It's everything. And that's what I would say.
So remember, kids, go outside.
Yeah, go out.
Yes.
Touch some
Unironically.
grass.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we are
go
touching some
outside.
grass.
Stay in school.
Uh,
Yeah, stay in
Yes.
school and go outside.
Yes.
So
And with that perfect innuendo, I would like to give off Taco to about the last question. It's a very important
oh
question, Taco. It's basically
yes,
the
okay,
second to last one. Would you
yeah.
like to ask it?
So yeah, no, yes, of course. So earlier you did mention there were instances where maybe directors were not very nice or being very weird. So there probably is some slumps in your motivation at some point, right, in your career. So,
Yeah.
do you have moments where you just have like ugh, I can't record this right now, but I really don't want to. And how do you get over that? Because as creatives, we always wonder how people like get over their I guess like roadblocks, like these kinds of
Yeah.
motivational roadblocks. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's the same for everybody, whether it's motivation, you're in school, you want to become a lawyer or you want to become an artist. Like we all go through this, and life is tough and the world is tough currently. And so there's a lot of distractions. And I definitely feel like it goes in waves. I was talking to my sister about this yesterday. I'm like, look, I've got a decent amount of voice work that's coming. I've got a decent amount of money saved. I've got conventions booked. I don't really have to hustle right now to sustain my life, right? Which is a great
Hmm.
way to feel. But I kind of discovered that I was lacking motivation to kind of like discover what I wanted to be next. I feel like we go through different stages in our life of we have different life sections, right? Of who we are and what our life is about. And I am currently in a
Mm,
position that is void of kind of any personality of what I am. It's
Mhm.
odd. And so but it's exciting because I can choose what I want my next path to be, but I'm kind of currently lacking that motivation to go out and find it. So how do I change it? Exercise, reading,
Yes.
um, you
Yes.
know, like
touching
I
grass.
feel
touching
you. Oh
grass.
my goodness.
You have to, right? I love TV. I love sitting on the couch. I love watching TV and all that stuff, but I have to force myself to go out and run. And I don't know. But it just
I
really does
feel you
go in
so
phases.
much.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, I like did a 2 hour walk like the other day and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is so good.
And also that gives you time to think too, to like create your dreams, like to kind of like fabricate what's going to happen. And
Do
and
you listen to
for
music while you when you like exercise or go for walks?
I do. I typically listen to
Yeah.
like stupid pop. Like I'm a big fan of the Jonas Brothers. Don't kill me.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
So I do pop, but I also do like calm radio, which is just like almost like stuff that you fall asleep to. So when I'm out
Mhm.
walking in nature, if there aren't any birds really present, I'll hear them in my headphones.
Mm,
Um, and that kind of gives me a little bit of motivation as well.
mhm.
Yeah, but I do it. I try to do it every day now. So I did it. I did it
Yep,
before this
same.
podcast. Yeah,
Mhm.
but
That's
it is
excellent.
tough.
That's
Nice.
excellent
Yeah,
mindset. But it's I think it's amazing that you, because I deal with motivation issues as well,
yeah,
and everything you said I really resonate with, and what you said is 100% true. It really does help to push yourself to just go outside, go for walks daily, listen
yeah.
to music. It's it's fundamental in you know being a human being really, and
It is.
living a healthy life.
It is, and also too, I have learned, and this is not just for exercise and the endorphins you get and all that stuff, but creativity. It's like if you know that there's something that you don't want to do, you hate it. It's called is it Eat the Frog? Eating the Frog? There's a book. I think there's a book called Eating the Frog. Basically, it's like if you do the thing that you hate to do first, everything else is easy. So
Yes.
get up in the morning and eat the frog. Make the phone call, send the emails, go to the gym, and then everything else falls into place and you find yourself motivated just for the pure physical fact of you doing something that you didn't want to do initially. So this is my TED talk.
Mhm. Mhm. Real. Real.
Yeah, and with that uplifting and motivating speak, I'm afraid we're out of time.
No,
I'm so sorry I have to do it. Time flews by when we're all having fun, and
it's only
um,
5 a.m. for you, Shade. Come on, stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shade. You can stay for like
Wow,
5
Shade
more
is so
hours.
jealous, so
Shade.
selfish.
It's
Am I right,
Not
Shade?
selfish.
even sleep. Come on,
Amazing.
This is
Shade.
all Shade's fault.
Amazing.
you got me, the producer, the PR guy needs to
I was
end
gonna say it's always the
everything.
producer's fault. I love
Yep.
not being a producer on this project.
Yep.
It's
um, but yeah, before we'd like to officially leave you off, of course, anything that you would like to shout out or promote. Let's say, let's start off with you, Brian, then you, Juve, Taco, Saze, um, going in that direction.
Yeah, you guys, obviously check out my social media. If you want to get some really fun, weird stuff, it's on TikTok at Monokuma Brian B, Instagram at Brian Beacock, and as we said, Twitter, because I refuse to call it X, at Brian Beacock. Also Blue Sky at Brian Beacock. And check out my con schedule for the year and all the ridiculous stuff that I'm doing.
Right, perfect. Juve, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna echo that. Please go follow Brian Beacock on all socials,
Oh,
Twitter, Blue Sky. Pretty cool and interesting guy. And I'll also call out our friends over at Unmasked Truths. It's an upcoming visual novel. You saw it, we mentioned it in the last dev vlog. We've shouted them out on Twitter a couple of times. Speaking of star-studded voice acting casts, I mean, obviously nobody can touch the Brian Beacock, but they got some pretty good voice actors over there at Unmasked Truths. And they've been very friendly, very helpful to us as we've kind of figured out our pipeline and such. So definitely want to give them a shout out. And otherwise, hey, I'm going to shout out Shade, Saze, and Taco because they're absolutely incredible, and I love working with them, and they make my life so
nice.
easy.
Thank you so
So
much.
I'm just grateful that I get to work with and the entire Eden's Garden team and the entire community, the 237 people who are still hanging out with us. That's my shout out.
All right,
I love
perfect.
friends.
Taco,
Yay.
what about you? Anything you would like to shout out?
Yes, first of all, as I said earlier in the chat, in certain time zones, it's Ava Sunaka's birthday. Say hi, say happy birthday to my girl in the chat.
Happy
Okay,
Hey,
next up,
birthday.
happy birthday.
yes, happy
Birthday.
birthday. Also, shout out to Brian Beacock. Follow their Twitter, please.
Oh,
And
thank you.
next up, we've been working on off screen. Remember, it's coming soon. Just reminding you,
Oh, do
the
the people know
bells are
the name of
tolling.
it? Have we even
Yeah,
officially
they
dropped
do.
the
Yes.
name?
I
Oh,
said
Oh
it.
yes, we
wow, I'm
mentioned it in
Oh,
the
you
so out
didn't
of the
devlog.
watch the
loop. I am so
devlog.
sorry.
Saza didn't watch the
Wow,
devlog.
Saze.
Hello, hello.
Oh yeah, my bad.
It's on the devlog.
All right,
My
Saze.
bad.
Anything you would
Yes.
like to shout out or promote?
I love one. Yay. I love the good vibes. Thank you, Brian. This
Thank you.
wonderful. You gave really good advice. Yay! That's my home. Yay!
Yes,
This is
and
good.
I mean, as for me, also from my bottom of my heart, thank you so much for this amazing opportunity. It's been an honor to talk to you, and it's been so much fun, like asking all of these questions. I hope you also had a lot of fun answering all of those
I
questions.
did.
And I guess to kind of like leave it off with on a funny note. So Kevin Gerard, who is our voice actor for Tozu, who's also a headmaster. And I guess my funny question to you is, as Monokuma, what sort of advice would you give it to him?
There's always time for punishment time.
Oh, yes.
Oh my god,
Perfect.
what
He
a
said
good
the
close.
line.
He
Nailed it.
said the line.
Nailed it.
All
Oh my
right, guys.
god.
Then thank you so much for listening in. Thank you so much to you, Brian, for taking the time, of course, and as well as everyone here listening in. And thank you so much for also staying so long for even though it's been a little bit over an hour. And I guess until we see each other again, hopefully it is not the last time we basically can talk to each other. And
I hope
yeah,
not.
I
I
wish you
mean,
wish you rest of a wonderful day.
Thanks, everybody. Stay in touch. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Yes, of course.
see you,
Appreciate
Bye,
you, Brian.
guys.
everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye,
Bye
Brian. Take
bye.
Bye,
care.
Take
Brian.
care.